At alamin natin ang magiging epekto sa mga malilit na negosyo, MSMEs. Opo, malilit na negosyante ng bansa mula sa investment pledges na nakuha po ng Pilipinas sa bansang Japan. Baka kasama natin para dyan si Sir Joey Concepcion, ang Go Negosyo founder at Private Sector Advisory Council Lead for Jobs. Good morning, Sir Joey.
Good morning.
Tinatayang nasa $13 billion ang naisil na investment deals ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. sa kanyang matagumpay na pagbisita sa Japan. Sir Joey, ano pong impact nito sa pagdinegosyo sa Pilipinas, lalo na sa mga MSMEs?
Well, unang-una, itong 708 billion na foreign direct investments, no, dahil dito sa visit ni Pangulong Marcos, is projected to generate about 24,000 jobs, no, for our Filipino people. Malaking bagay rin yan, no. Dito naman sa pagtutulong dito sa mga MSMEs natin, syempre malaking bahagi sila sa ekonomiya natin. They contribute basically 85% of job generation and 45% of GDP. So, syempre, yung mga deals na to, karamihan yan, lahat sa malaking korporasyon. Mga conglomerates natin, pumili ng mga agreements kasama dyan, ang mga large Japanese companies dyan sa Tokyo. At hindi lang yan, yung Philippines, we also thank the Japanese go for supporting yung mga MSMEs natin. They donated close to $700,000, no, through the Philippines, no. Malaking bagay rin yan for training our MSMEs, no, to scale them up. Ito kong programa ng Amen. So malaking suporta yan sa mga MSMEs natin, yung ginawa ng JAIF, no. So we thank the Japanese government for that. So I believe that the trip was well attended. Halos 170 people from the private sector joined the president in this state visit.
Magbibigay rin ang Japan-ASEAN Integration Fund ng mahigit $600 million na tulong sa ASEAN Mentorship for Entrepreneurship Network. O ang tinatawag parang Amen, o Amen. O, para sa kalaban ng lahat, ano po ba ang programang ito, Sir Joey?
Just a correction, it's $700,000
Okay,
na binigay ng JAIF, no? Japan ASEAN Integration Fund. Ito ginamit namin dito para igawa yung programa ng pagtuturo dito sa mga MSMEs. At yan ang lilunsad namin, kasama namin dito yung Department of Trade and Industry. Pero hindi lang para sa Pilipinas itong $700,000, no? Para sa buong ASEAN, ng 10 countries. Ang nag-lead lang nitong pagsikap dito sa fund na to ang Pilipinas. Kasi kasama ako dito sa ASEAN Business Advisory Council as chairman of the ASEAN for the Philippines, no? So malaking bagay yan sa pagtutulong dito sa mga MSMEs, hindi na lang sa Pilipinas, pati sa buong 10 ASEAN countries.
Paano po ito matutulungan ang MSME sa bansa, Sir Joey? Nasa ilang mga malilit na negosyante po ang makikinabang dito sa grant na ito?
Well, marami rin. Kasi yung platform ng Amen, ASEAN Mentorship for Entrepreneurship Network, hindi lang ang Pilipinas we are bringing in mentors to work with us voluntary. Hindi wala tayong bayad sa mga mentors natin dito. Sa ibang bansa, ganyan rin. So, ang platform ito ay giving them access to mentors, access to market, and access to, of course, money. No? Yung tatlong M's na yan, very important para isang MSME ay mas lalong lumaki. Kailangan siya na isang mentor at kailangan tulungan siya para ibenta niya yung mga products niya or service sa isang market. And syempre, yung bangko, yung magpapautang dito sa MSMEs, importante yan. Kung makita nila na may mentor isang MSME, katulad ng isang malaking negosyante na tumutulong sa MSME, part of the value chain, at may access to market na siya, madali na ang bangko. Papasok ang bangko kasi alam nila may big brother itong MSME. So yun ang programa na ginagawa dito sa Pilipinas at it's being run in Singapore, it's launched now in Indonesia, and then eventually all the other ASEAN countries. So malaking bagay ang tinulong ng JAIF dito sa programa ng mentorship.
Gaano po kalaga na ma-scale up ang MSME sa Pilipinas, Sir Joey?
Well, dito sa buong ASEAN, we have about 70 million MSMEs, no? And about 99% of total establishments are in ASEAN, no? And 85% of MSMEs contribute to job generation and 45% basically to ASEAN GDP, no? So, kung hindi lang kaya ng mga malaking negosyante ay that we can really help push the economy. No? Big business cannot do that alone. Kung hindi kasali dito ang mga MSMEs sa pagtutulong para lumaki ang economy natin, walang mangyayari. Hihina ang economy natin. Kaya it's very important that this huge percentage of 97% of our negotiantes, out of 1%, about 1 to 3% is large business. The balance is MSMEs. So if they will not grow, the country will not grow. And importante, we're after growth. You know, we are incurring more debt. So for the country to grow, we need to grow to be able to pay this debt. So we can manage our debt to GDP. Kaya parati natin, we are always pushing for growth, no? And now may konting headwinds tayo, itong inflation, itong high interest rates. Hindi naman natin kasalanan yan, no? Dahil sa Russia-Ukraine crisis, dahil sa China supply chain, pero ngayon bukas ng China, so palagi ko ma-normalize yung supply chain sa China. So we need all the efforts, no, of big business to really help our MSMEs. And of course, kasama natin dito yung government. Malaking bagay yung teamwork ng private at public sector, no, para umanlad ang Philippine economy.
At sinabi rin ng Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. na malaga sa economic development ng Pilipinas ang isinusulong po na pagsali sa Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership o RCEP. Bilang isang negosyante, ano po sa tingin ninyo ang benepisyo po nito sa mga negosyo, lalo na sa mga MSME?
Well, syempre, yung trading, no, kung hindi tayo kasali dyan, we will not be able to trade, no, with all the others at that level, no, kasi certain tariffs will go down. Siyempre, the challenge lang here is, of course, our micro farmers will have to really step up. And this is an area that is a weak point in the country at this point in time. Kaya si President Marcos is still the Secretary of Agriculture, and he has brought in former Secretary Sebastian, who will help. He's an expert in rice, no? Ang malaking bagay dito ang pagtutulong dito ang yung mga malaking negosyante dito sa agrikultura. Kaya we also brought in former Secretary Dart to help us in the private sector as an advisor to bring the big brothers and link them with the farmers, no? Yun ang importante. They have to be part of our value chain. And that is the only way. And we are supposed to launch that hopefully by February or March, itong private sector Big Brother approach towards agri. That is the only way, no? Of course, RCEP will be more challenging for our farmers. There's no doubt about that. But that's why we have to help them scale them up. And it's also for the benefit of our consumers, no? We cannot subsidize the farmers at the expense of consumers, no? But we have to protect our farmers so that they continue to be competitive, no? We cannot just leave them out there kasi babagsak rin ng sila at malulugi at eventually hihina rin ang economy. So agriculture is definitely, to me, the focus of this administration. We have to succeed here.
May kitisandaan negosyante, kabilang na po kayo. Sir Joey, ang kabilang sa delegasyon ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. sa Japan. Ano po ang importansya o kahalagahan po nito?
Well, malaking bagay yan kasi it's a sign of confidence, no, that the private sector really likes what this administration is doing, no? Led by, of course, President Marcos. No? At the feeling, in fact, we were hosted by the Japanese banks, no, for dinner. May mga exchanges tayo, a lot of agreements were signed. But nakikita ko dito ang relationship ng mga Pinoy and the Japanese, no. There is that mutual trust, no, and that's very important. As we know, the Japanese has been supporting this country for quite some time. Many of our infrastructure projects are actually funded by the Japanese, and we want them to continue to support us, no. Japan and the Japanese love the Philippines. Nakita natin mutual tourism both sides because Filipinos love to eat in Japan and the Japanese love our beaches. So I think that this is very important, and this is what I wanted to stress, no, that the president's role in running the country is not just internally. No, it is good for him to travel to sell the Philippines because his sound bites that resonate quite well with the investors, no, and us in the private sector. By the way, we pay for everything, no? Nothing is supported. We pay for our own travel, we pay for our own food. If we attend these conferences, we have a fee to pay, and all of that is supported by the private sector. Walang problema. So, the government is not subsidizing the private sector, and we are happy to support the president in all his trips because we see that this is the way forward. We need foreign investors to come to the Philippines to invest in this country so that we can generate more jobs, and especially the activity for our MSMEs will have a better chance. They will have a better chance of scaling up. Alam mo, dito sa Japan, wala silang mga micro-entrepreneurs, small at medium. That's quite big. But dito sa Pilipinas, mas maraming micro. 99% of our entrepreneurs dito ay micro. So our vision is to eventually scale these entrepreneurs up na micro to become like Japan, small and medium. Wala nang micro dapat. So that means that the economy is going to do well if our micro is able to move to small and medium. Yun ang goal natin.
Mensahe na lang o paalala, Sir Joey, sa ating mga manunood, lalo na sa mga maliliit na negosyante.
Well, nakikita natin, syempre may mga problema tayo, mga headwinds hindi galing sa bansa natin, galing sa ibang bansa. Pero there is no other way but for us to confront this situation. Medyo tumataas yung interest rates kasi yung inflation ay tuloy-tuloy pa rin umaakyat. Hindi dahil dito, dahil sa ibang bansa. But eventually, towards the end of this year, eventually all of this will taper off. At a certain point in time, interest rates will stabilize. And towards the end or maybe next year, it will start to go down. Pero kailangan natin dito kasi yung inflation is also hitting our consumers. And if our consumers are affected, they will buy less. And if they buy less, how will the country grow? No? So we have to bring the prices of our special agri-products at levels that will benefit not only the consumers but of course the farmers. No? So it has to be a good balance. So I'm very optimistic that the president is he's on the right track. These road shows are very important for us to serve the Philippines. And I'm glad that the private sector is solidly behind the president in all of this.
Maraming salamat sa inyong oras, Sir Joey Concepcion, Go Negosyo founder at Private Sector Advisory Council, Lead for Jobs.
Salamat rin.